Hi, good afternoon. We're here with Colette from Goat Drinks and Myth Drinks. Name right there?
Yep, that's correct. They're two different businesses. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. So, yeah, if you'd just like to tell us, go straight into who you are, what you do, give us a bit more detail about the business and how long you've been doing it for, please.
Okay, so I'm Colette, and I've thought a lot about how, because I've done a few interviews now, and I haven't drunk for 21 years. So for 21 years, I've said my name's Colette and I'm alcoholic. And that still seems to be the thing that comes out of my mouth. I'm very AA. Yeah. So my name's Colette and I'm alcoholic. And I don't look the way people expect alcoholics to look. I don't sound like that, but trust me, I am very alcoholic. So when I drank, I didn't drink pretty at all. When I stopped drinking, I drank for safety. So I drank water and coffee. I got married 5 years into sobriety. I'm a therapist by trade, a person-centered therapist. I tend to work with addiction. And over the course of years, I realized there was this whole part of the world that I wasn't entitled to. I hadn't been entitled to it when I was drinking, and I certainly wasn't entitled to it now I was sober. And it was to do with choice, really, choice of what I could drink. I'd go to, 5-star tasting menus and I'd be given Fanta. That actually happened. There just wasn't an option.
Yeah.
Because of the way I was raised, I have to say I knew I was alcoholic as well, because my mother died alcoholic when I was a child. So I knew exactly what it was. Because I was raised, I don't have that bit of your brain that tells you can't do something. So most normal people think, oh, that's a good idea, someone will do that. My head doesn't do that. My head goes, that's a good idea, I'll do that, with no skills and no knowledge and no industry expertise at all. So it was about 5 years ago. I woke up one morning, I've been out with Andy, my husband, and again, I've been offered elderflower or Coke or something. And I said, how hard could it really be to make a drink? So I did. With literally no, I've never made anything. I've never been in marketing, had my first Instagram account 3 months ago. I've never worked in food. I've never so much as been a waitress. I've never worked in nothing like that at all. My background, my first degrees in philosophy. I worked as a singer. I worked in a bank. As I say, I'm a therapist and have been for the last 20 years. And so I don't quite know how I thought I'd do it, but I did.
Excellent. And so have you, in terms of trading through the drinks business, has that covered the pandemic? And if so, what was the kind of biggest impact for you on that?
So this is probably going to interest you. So I guess you know that I won the IWSC. That's
stuff on your
how
website.
How most people find me at the minute. So I was awarded the bronze for my dark drink and the gold for my white drink, but my white cane was actually awarded the trophy for the entire zero alcohol sector, so anything in that sector. But I haven't actually launched. So it was the trial run that was put into that competition. I'm just waiting for my first commercial run now, and that should be ready next week. So I wasn't trading during the pandemic because I only took possession of the trial run of drinks in May. So it's all very new.
It's new, exciting, and there's a big journey ahead, all being well.
I mean, the pandemic did derail my development, so I did just put it all down. That's why it was like a 5-year process, because I just put it down and left it for a bit, and I wasn't going to go back to it. And then obviously I did.
Great stuff. Okay, thank you for sharing that. So in terms of where you are now, then, what does the future look like, and what do you see as the main challenges going ahead?
Well, it's frankly terrifying, isn't it? I oscillate between thinking I'm like some kind of genius and palpitations on a daily basis. I'm beginning to understand in a way that I hadn't understood before, because I'm nearly 50 now, and we're 50 in a few months, that a woman of that age does not attract a great deal of funding, does not attract a great deal of business interest, particularly because I haven't come from the sector. And everything I'm doing, I'm having to learn, I'm having to wing it on the spot. People are asking me questions. I'm going, yeah, it'll be fine, as I'm Googling it, Nobody works for me. I haven't got a team. It's just me. I've also got 4 children. And obviously I run another business as well. So one of the biggest challenges I've probably got, other than knowledge, industry knowledge, is just self-belief, because everyone has that bit in their head that goes, what are you doing? Why would you do this to yourself? And funding, which I don't quite know how that's going to go. I've now got 2 full runs. I've got the full run of my energy drink, and I've got the full run, or I'm about to take the full run of the spirits. And it's about selling now, I guess. And it seems to be quite a closed market. Everyone buys from certain places, and it's difficult to sell to them and all of that. So that's probably where I find myself.
Getting your contacts. So plenty of fun and games ahead in terms of getting those sales through the door. Is there one thing in terms of a biggest learning that you've had so far, if you were to try and pick out one thing, what that would be?
Yeah, absolutely. Trust your instinct, because I didn't know the industry. I've spent a lot of money and a lot of time with people who shouldn't have the job titles they've got, because they clearly have no more knowledge of the sector than I did, and I won't say which areas, because that would be insensitive, but there's certainly been some areas where I've gone to consultants and experts to work as contractors for me, and it's cost a fortune and taken ages, and I've ended up doing it myself. And there seems to be no recourse on so that would be, and the weird thing is, I kind of knew when I met these people, but I discounted it because I thought, well, it's just because you don't know, you don't know what you're doing. So I'd say that's probably my biggest thing. Just, I work in a very iterative way, so I need to be with people who have that capacity, and not everyone does.
Thank you. Good share. And if you were to give some advice to a younger person starting out in business, what would that be? If there's, say, a single piece of advice.
I'm a therapist. I don't do advice.
Fair enough.
I tell you what I would say, because it's part of the reason I picked the drinks up again after I'd put them down and decided not to do them. Someone told me that Colonel Sanders was in his late 60s when he set up KFC. He'd had a really failed career in the military,
up and down,
a bit of a disgrace, and a bit of a and he thought it was all done. That was it. It was all done for him. And I'm not okay about aging. I've tried to be, but I'm just not. And there was something about that story that made me think it's not necessarily about young people starting out. It's about anybody restarting at any point.
That's it. Never give up. There's never a time it's done. If the time's right, doesn't matter what age you are.
Yeah, I mean, genuine. Well, except if you're looking for funding, then it appears to matter. But hey,
well, it's another challenge to push on through, isn't it?
Yeah, my husband's a consultant. He says the word challenge a lot. I tend to swear more than that.
Yeah. So in terms of, I mean, you've touched on a bit of inspiration there, I suppose, with Colonel Sanders' story. Is there anything else that inspires you to do what you do?
Yeah, but it always sounds a bit kind of Miss Worldy, I want world peace. Homelessness. So I want to be able to grow a business, to use the money to make a fundamental difference to homelessness, because I believe history will judge us for letting people die in doorways. So every time I see someone on the street, every time.
Powerful inspiration.
That's what I'm building.
Keep doing what you're doing.
I'm alcoholic. I've got the same illness that puts most of those people there. Sure.
Thank you for sharing that. So lastly, in terms of any sort of latest news around your business, obviously you've shared a fair bit in terms
loads of it. Loads of it. I don't know how much I can say right now. I've just been asked to partner on a couple of really big things that will come out next year. I am doing the No and Low show in Olympia in a couple of weeks. Then there's the IWSC Awards on the same week. I think it's the 28th or the 29th. And then I'm doing the International Drinks Festival in Excel in the middle of October. I've just launched some Etsy gifting boxes. I'm obviously just launching the rebrand and the new websites. I've just split the drinks business. So it was just goat drinks. So that's quite confusing, I think, for some people, because when I launched, I didn't really realize that an energy drink and a non-alcoholic spirit would be so different. And I know that sounds like a strange thing to say, but because they're my drinks, I thought of them as just like, one thing. And then my accountant said, no, you need to separate these, particularly if you're going to look for funding. So now it's myth drinks, which is obviously the myth spirits, and goat drinks, which is obviously the goat energy drinks, which makes more sense. But it's just twice the admin.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, thank you very much for sharing all that you have today. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and all the best. I hope it goes from strength to strength for you, and
Thank you.
especially the inspiration that you use to do it.
Thank you.